sure you realize there's a huge heat wave going across the country right now. We'll have to get Dave's opinion on this, but
I bet we can predict it before he arrives.
all right, let's.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you the news. You pretend to be Dave.
Which one of us, Biggie, you want to pretend to be
All
Dave?
right, Big, you be Dave.
Yeah.
Okay. Just saw this. National Weather Service and others are considering now naming heat waves, what you'd name a hurricane or the big snowstorm.
Dave, I can tell you this. He doesn't, like China doesn't recognize Taiwan. Dave does not recognize winter storm names. He only recognizes hurricanes.
There's no question that's right. But let me just play the opposite end of that. I do think we pay more attention to hurricanes because they're named. I think when you hear...
You think the name makes it a bigger deal?
I do.
Okay.
With hurricanes now, but of course they've been doing that with hurricanes for a long time.
True.
So when they did winter storms, I had the same reaction Dave had. Come on. Give us a... come on.
Well, the thing with, hurricanes, they tend to develop in like one or two places, and you know where they're going to go.
Yes.
Winter storms can be anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I bet you can name a couple hurricanes you remember.
Oh.
I bet you can't name any winter storms.
Well, they've only done winter storms for like 3 or 4 years. But the point is, if they start naming them, you know it's serious. You hear thunderstorm, so what? You hear
Thunderstorm Clyde.
right, yeah, right. But if you hear Hurricane Dennis has just developed, you're like, okay, let me pay attention to this. It's got a name. So if they use it with winter storms, and if they say, oh, snow's coming, okay. If they say snowstorm Bill is coming through Apalachicola, then you might go, okay, wait a minute. Now, are we just saying okay, you say it's going to be hot. All right, so what?
Here comes Heat Wave Reggie.
Right. Thank you.
Oh, no, not Reggie.
Or are they diluting it? Or are they doing
you
so
dilute
good?
it because it's hot. Sometimes
hot.
it can be very.
Yeah.
Was 105 in Texas?
Well, yeah.
Is that the same heat wave that hits North Carolina?
Probably. If they say Heat Wave Reggie is moving across the country, and it's just already cut a swath through Texas, and now it's headed for you, Carolina.
Here comes Samantha right behind it.
Yep.
Right, yeah. Okay. If you hear a name over time. Now, of course, we're so cynical. Originally, we're going to go, but in 15 years, when it becomes the norm, because they didn't always name hurricanes.
True.
So they didn't, but they're just much bigger.
Well, they are. And they do just, they
Devastation.
destroy.
The potential for destruction is enormous.
But now, so do snowstorms. They can do some serious damage. If they're big enough to be named, and they're bad enough to be named, would Dave Aiken, when they started naming storms I don't even know, 75 years ago, when they named the first hurricane, if he had been there, would he have gone, oh, what's this? Come on.
Naming storms.
It's a Hurricane Amy. Give me that crap.
You know what I love, too, that he hates? And you'll hear him you'll hear him yell at the TV.
Yeah.
They'll be like, this will affect 60 million people. And he hates that. What does that mean? How did you get those numbers? What does that mean?
Well, you know what they do. If it's going toward New York,
course.
Boston, Philadelphia.
Anywhere in the upper East Coast.
Yeah.
Of course, that's where millions of people live.
Yeah, so.
55 million people impacted. What does that mean?
He hates that.
Really does.
Well, and they've just started really doing that in the last
I
handful.
know. It's an attention-grabbing number, but it's almost worthless.
It's like breaking news. Breaking news. When you heard it 25 years ago, something's happened. Now, every other story is breaking news.
I remember as a kid, anytime there was breaking news, just everyone stopped.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, something terrible's happened or something.
But I have to admit, when I'm watching the local news, and I do, when they do breaking news, I will say, all right, what's going on? But then most of the time,
where's my remote? It's in the shawl somewhere.
Breaking news: Heat Wave Reggie has formed.
Right. That's the thing. That'll be a thing. And they trap me in on those morning TV shows. Stuff. It's like this.
Their new thing is breaking overnight.
Breaking
morning
overnight.
shows
Every day.
Breaking overnight.
Every day.
Breaking overnight.
And stuff that I shouldn't care about. What dads really want for Father's Day? What do they? I think they get me in. I'll watch those the Today Show or Good Morning America on the weekend, and they do that stuff. Well, today, the big exclusive today is Savannah Guthrie has got Amber Heard on a sit down. They're on the Today Show today and on Dateline as well. And Amber says, I'll tell you one thing. social media was to blame for this loss that she had in court. Not the jury, but the social media, which we discussed last week. So that's a big deal for the Today Show. They got Amber Heard. We're going to hear from her in moments. Anonymous, we're talking about naming storms and why they do it. Go ahead.
Good morning, P1 here.
Thank you.
Calling you guys from Kitty Hawk, actually from High Point, but we're on vacation this morning and I'm watching.
Uh-huh.
And just wanted you to know the reason they name storms anymore is because that's the only way insurance will cover losses. You know Dave loves insurance companies, right?
What? So if a storm that is not named comes through and destroys part of your house, they won't pay.
Insurance will not cover. You got it. Insurance won't cover.
I never heard that.
I neither.
It has to be a named storm.
So now
Is that at, like coastal properties only?
No. No, we learned this from our insurance agent. Like I said, we live in High Point.
Yeah.
So now that may be why they're going to name snowstorms. And then now Dave may change his tune because if they name
but that was
something-
just a Weather Channel thing.
No, Dave, you know how Dave hates insurance. He'll be like, whatever breaks, they won't cover.
I know. So now, if named storms, if she's accurate and name storms, if they destroy something, so if they name a snowstorm and it destroys something on your house, maybe they're forced to pay. But yeah, it's really Weather Channel, not National Weather.
They
Service.
started it. I mean, other news outlets don't do it. NBC did because they owned Weather Channel for a time, but they don't anymore.
I never hear much about it. Thank you, Anonymous. Not with snowstorms. I never hear. And heat waves seems somewhat ridiculous.
Agreed.
It's like, come on. Are we getting into that?
Breaking news.
What do you have?
Mail call.
Oh, God.
No. Oh, no.
God. Oh, no. Everyone.
Kind of a short list. Kelly.
Well, we know what this is. We know exactly what this
Very
is.
smallish envelope.
This is going to be an envelope.
Looks like it was mailed 4 days ago.
All right. Inside it is going to be a sheet of paper with the word FART on it in some
You don't
form
know
of
that.
fashion.
It could be money. Biggie gets money.
Yeah, maybe somebody sent you money.
No, it's the Wordle again. One person does the Wordle, and it always ends FARTS. Always.
So this is the same person just trolling you at this point.
Well, it's one of many, I think. I don't know. We just
Well, you've gotten a few wordles.
Look at the guess words.
reels, tough, asses, sucks, foods, and then the last one that's a winner, FARTS,
Farts.
which I will not say. I will not say.
So sad.
Now I'm getting a lot
The
of
construction of that is actually impressive.
and it's different words every time for the first
Yeah.
starting words. I'm getting a lot of emails now. People saying, "I hate the word dookie. I hate the word, and then moist. I hate all these other words, and I just will not say that word. I just refuse, and I don't care. And I'm being emboldened now. The more these people write me, the more I say, "Bring it."
It fuels your hatred?
It fuels my hatred. You know how I am fueled up on hate.
Yes.
especially when I'm dieting. And right now,
Oh, yeah.
I am fueled up on bitter hatred. Bring it.
Bring your farts.
Bring it.
Bring your postcards. That's
right.
Your letters.
I was watching Colin Cowherd the other day. You know how I do that sometimes for sports. And he said, "You know what I like getting? Hate mail. It makes me realize. It makes me fight back harder." I was like, "You're right. Bring it." I thought of all these FART senders. Like, come on, let's have it. Let's have it. I'm like, I'm now imploring you to bring it on. Changing my tactics.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we haven't figured
See
out
if that works.
We have no idea, where they're coming from. They're all over the country.
There's no real rhyme or reason.
Seattle to Albuquerque to Charlotte to Tallahassee. We've gotten them all. This is Amber Heard talking, by the way. Now, she is on Dateline with Savannah Guthrie and the Today Show, and she says, you've got to realize social media wasn't fair to me during this trial.
Even somebody who is sure I'm deserving of all this hate and vitriol, even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation. You cannot tell me that you think that this has been fair.
I agreed with her. I thought it was too much on social media. Our attorney thought the same. That jury was
You
influenced.
started that.
I started.
But then, if that's the case, then how do you explain Johnny Depp losing the previous case?
I don't believe social media was as anti-Amber Heard in the previous case. Last time
It was
around,
a year ago.
it was in London. Yeah, it was in London. But I don't recall all the social media. I don't recall her walking out of the courtroom being booed because of all that, social media, the stuff that was written about her.
No, but see, you saw a ton of it though. If you're on social media
In England.
well, yeah, not really the England part.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He asked, how do you account for her winning in England? I think it was more about the law in England. I think it was more about, the jury being swayed in some ways.
And I can't remember in England if cameras were allowed in or not, because see, that's how this all started. Was they were allowed, and a lot of it became mocking her attorney. Her one attorney really started.
She had a bad attorney.
Yeah, that attorney really started the social media craze and Depp's reactions.
Well, Savannah asked her, do you blame the jury? And Heard said no.
I don't blame them. It wasn't. I don't blame them. I actually understand. He's a beloved character, and people feel they know him. He's a fantastic actor.
She says he put on a show for everybody, and people love him, and he was just more likable than her coming out of that. Certainly to the public opinion, the court of public opinion.
I wonder if she got paid for this interview.
Well, I'll tell you, she needs money.
She does need money, and a few days before this aired, she was seen getting on a private jet, and the big question was, "How does she afford a private jet?" Well, I think now we know that was an NBC private jet.
You suggested OnlyFans.
Not just me, the internet, social media.
You said
Don't put OnlyFans just on me.
no, wear it. I think you should wear it and say, yeah, I suggested OnlyFans because, and this is now your words, she'd be irresponsible not to do it.
Yes. Not just her, any woman.
That's right. You'd be irresponsible not to do OnlyFans.
Haven't we proven now that men will pay
Yes.
for anything?
Anything.
And she could be out of debt. I would bet she would be out of debt in 2 months.
Completely agree. And Chris Demm and I we saw excerpts of this interview that Savannah Guthrie is doing now. And I said to Chris Demm, this is a terrifically attractive young woman. I mean, Amber Heard.
She's so hot.
She is really, I don't know that I've ever seen her in a movie. I've never seen the Marvel movies y'all see. What else has she been in? I didn't see Aquaman. I didn't see that.
Oh, she's in.
I don't even know.
There's a movie with David Duchovny where she plays a daughter.
Okay.
She plays a fake daughter of David Duchovny and Demi Moore.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
Decent.
All right. I just know when I see her on camera, I think that's a terrifically attractive young woman.
Absolutely.
I mean, she's really...
The first movie I saw her in, I was like, who is that?
Yeah, she's gorgeous. She really is. And I think she could make her bones back on OnlyFans. And I didn't suggest
Message to the ladies.
Okay, I didn't suggest it first.
Hashtag girl dad.
I didn't suggest it first.
No.
And
I'm not first. I'm just signing on.
If I weren't her, if I were her father, I would say don't do it. But if she
But
wants
if she had one, I'd join.
okay, okay.
Does it come out as OnlyFans in the account, or does it say something different? Because it'd be great if it could say something like putt-putt.